Hey guys, it's Catherine here with Catholic Mom with Coffee, and this week's episode is about helping the Mass. I've had a taking your kids to Mass video before, and so I've gotten some new things since then, and I've tried them all except for one, because I just started using, so we don't really know how that'll help. But I'll link the first video somewhere up here where we put the iCards, assuming it'll work. But I'll go through the three things that I have for you to help your kids understand what's going on in the Mass. And if you're new to Catholicism, or you're a fallen away Catholic, returning Catholic, or you just never really learned about what's going on, these tools will help you too. So that way, if you feel like you're not ready or not able to or not qualified to teach your kids about the Mass, trust me, you are. That's why I'm here, is just to give you guys the tools and the resources. And I have three that you can choose to, well, technically I have five, but I only have three with me. I'll explain more later. But I have some resources for you in case you don't feel comfortable or not knowing where to start. It's the whole point of the channel anyways, is to come get resources to know where to go. So that way you can educate your families and yourself on Catholicism. So since it's the month of May, which is devoted to Our Lady, let's go ahead and start with a Hail Mary. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So like I don't know if you saw the previous video, which was only like 15 seconds long. I got a new laptop for Mother's Day. Thank you, Rod. Yay. I was trying to update something personal of mine on my old laptop, and it wasn't even allowing me to do that. And so my husband said, if I can't do something simple on it, it's past time for a new computer. So he bought me this new one, and for Mother's Day. And so because of that, I don't know how many of you knew that I had a blog going, and I stopped doing it. I think I did one blog post, and I stopped after the first one because the computer was that slow. It would take me literally 4 hours to do one paragraph. And I'm not a slow writer. It's just the technology was that slow. I type up something and I would have to wait for it to all kind of like show itself. So it took me days and days and days just to write one post. And I just got frustrated with it and quit. So at the bottom of this description, there should be a link to my blog post. So anything that I have, I'm starting now, and I'm going to try to backtrack as possible with my previous videos. Whatever I talk about in a video, I'm going to try to have it on my blog post. So that way, if you want the links to these items I'm talking about, you'll see them. And so anything I'm referring to, you can just go on your computer or your iPhone or tablet or whatever technology you're using to access those other websites. So you can check out these materials yourself and see which one works for your family. Now, the things I'm going to show you that help you with help your kids learn more about the Mass, it's a whole gamut of things out there already. I know. And so I just have 5 sample. Well, I'm going to show you 3 in this video, but I have 5 total that I'll talk about. And you just kind of pick and choose what works for your family. You know your kids the best. You know what their interests are. You know what your stress levels are. So for example, I'm going to show you guys a crafty idea to help your kids with the Mass. If you're not a crafty family or a crafty person yourself, then don't do that one. If you're the kind of person that's like, I would just rather spend the extra money, even though it's a little up there, just so I don't have to do the craft, do that. If your kids are more into books, get this book thing that I'm going to show you. So anyways, so don't feel like you have to do all of these things, or if none of these things look like they appeal to you, the websites that I'll have my blog post will give you guys ideas of where to at least start. So you're like, well, I kind of like this idea that Catherine showed me, but I like the other one a little bit more. So maybe you can find something that's kind of in between. So see kind of what works for your family. I'm not saying this is the way to do it or it's a foolproof way. The one thing I like the most out of the 3 things I'm going to show you on the video, my son loves but doesn't like to use it all the time, but it was working for my toddler. So don't get frustrated if something doesn't work, or just keep trying it a few times. and see what works for your family. So without further ado, let me just let you guys kind of know, if you don't know about my child, he is 2.5 as of the posting of this video. And he has a bit of a speech delay. He's talking more, but he's behind in how well his sentences should be formed according to his pediatrician. And we talked to early interventions and he didn't really test into getting help. He's not that low, but he's not high enough to be considered on level, or however you want to phrase it. So, I mean, he's talking everything and it's fine. We just have to work a little harder with him with speech. So what I'm going to show you actually helped him even with these huge vocabulary words that even I have trouble saying clearly. Now, he doesn't say these words clearly, but he knows that they have to do with the church. So what really helped now is this book. It's my first interactive mass book. And so it's from Ascension Press. And like I said, I'll have the link to all of these things on my blog post. So just check it out. Now, if you notice, he got it for Easter from my mom, and it is falling apart already. He's very gentle with books, but he absolutely loves this book. So every time we go to mass, we take this book with us. And what makes interactive books really neat is that they have pictures, they have beginning prayers. What I like about this is that you can turn, if I can find the wheel, you can turn the wheel to change the priest's vestments. Now the pages are sticking together. I apologize. Okay. So you can change the priest's vestment, or, this is not the priest's vestment. This is the order of the mass. It goes through the order of the mass. Now, for those of you who attend the traditional mass, this is more Novus Ordo style, because that's predominantly what we have in the United States. However, they do show that the mother is wearing a veil, which I think is really neat, because not everybody wears a veil, but a lot of people that attend a traditional mass will, a lot of women do. So I think that's kind of neat. They have that. They talk about holy water in the beginning. When you make the sign of the cross, it has arrows to show which direction to go. So they understand that they're actually making a cross when they're doing it. And it's got kind of a bumpy texture so they can feel it too. So I like that. Now, this is geared for ages, what does it say, 3 and up. My son is 2.5, so he's a little young for this, but it really helped him understand what's going on. So on the other side, you can change the priest's vestments to fit the season. So since it's Easter, as of the filming of this video, we would go up to white for Easter. And then what's neat is that they have the prayer. So when the kids are old enough to read, they can read along with it, or you can read with them. They talk about why the certain colors are the way they are. Now, the thing that really helped my son really get interested and focused in the mass and really enjoy it, I don't know, it's a certain page. Now that they're all, he's loved it so much, I had to actually glue it back together so the pages kind of stick. That's how, and he's gentle with the books. That's how often we read this. So what's neat is that they have these pictures for the kids to look at, and they have to find them in the church while they're sitting in the pew, which I love, because he can say, what does he say? He knows the difference between wine and water. The holy water, he knows when he because we don't have the holy water up by the doors anymore because of our present situation. But so the priest will come around and he does the holy water through the pews. So he sprinkles all of us with it. My son knows that that's holy water. And so he'll say, when he feels it on his head, he goes, holy water. And so that's huge for somebody with a speech delay. He knows Jesus. He knows also that this is the host, and this is what the priest raises up. So every time he sees this host, he'll even try to mimic it. He'll pretend like he's holding the host, and he holds it up, and he says, or if he sees a cross, he's like, "Oh, Jesus, pray." So he knows. So this book's really helped him. He says chalice. He says thurible. So chalice, thurible. I mean, he doesn't say it correctly, but I mean, you can pretty much figure out what he's saying. So it helps. And there's a couple, and it'll keep them quiet. There's, so when they say we're offering the gifts, that we're giving them with love. When the priest is doing the consecration, oh, that's the sanctus, sorry. When the priest, there it is. So when the priest is doing the consecration, he knows it's really Jesus' sacrifice. So not that he understands what all this is going on, but it does help. I mean, if he understands that makes there's something important going on up at the altar. Can you imagine with a kid that has the ability to read and has the ability to understand all that? So if you're looking for something, so keep your kids quiet in mass, unless they accidentally drop the book, in which case that's going to make a loud noise, but not a big deal. But it's helping him understand where things are in the church. I can point to something in the book and he'll point to where it is in our church. He'll say the words. It got him excited about mass. It makes him want to pay attention more of what's going on because he understands there is something important going on. So great book to get. It's from Ascension Press. I don't know how much they are. I will have a link in my blog post about it. But this was a gift from my mom to him. Now, if you're looking for something that's a little more fun, what is this? We Believers, I believe, is the company that makes this. Yes, We Believers. And they have things that are Catholic and some that are just generic Christian. So it's not an actual Catholic website, but it's still really neat. My mom got this for him too because it has a handle on it. And on the outside is a church, the outside of the church. And on the inside is the inside of the church. And what's neat about this is that it's nice and interactive. It's quiet. It's easy to transport. You can take it to mass if you want. If you have kids that need to be a little, I mean, I'm not one for bringing a lot of toys to mass, but if you want to bring one thing, this is great. And what's fun about this is that board is, and I'm not going to go through this because it has a lot of pieces. See if I can find a better piece that's big. Oh, look, we have none. Okay, so it's magnetic. So here we have the priest chair. Comes with a nun, which I thought was really cool, and her habit, an actual habit, instead of, a dress suit and a little pin that looks like a cross, and you're wondering if that's really a nun or not. And then we have the priest, and there's different vestments that you can stick onto the magnets to go along with the liturgical year, which I love. But the inside is magnetic, and this is geared for 4 and up. So kids that are already in preschool, this works better. Now, I'm just sticking them up where they really don't go, but you can stick them. The kids can stick them and try to wherever they need to go. And then your kids, while you're there, you can explain to them what's going on in the mass. This is another option. And it's just magnetic. They can take it on a car trip. You can pull it out on a rainy day. And it comes with, now if you're not sure that what is what and why we have it, they have a little paper pamphlet that fits really easily into the little church, and it talks about what all the different things are and what they're used for, in really easy, simple language. So again, my son, we tried playing this with my son. I think he kind of liked the idea, but he's just starting to like reusable stickers and magnets, but it's not his big thing right now. He's obsessed with cars, and let's see, what else is he obsessed with? Cars and playing his guitar. He's got a little toy guitar. So if it's not one of those things, he's just about. So he likes the idea of it, but he's not quite old enough to really get into it. But this is great, especially if you don't know all the different parts of the church or the mass, or like you're new, like I said, or you don't know where to start. It's a great tool to take with you. My only suggestion is if you, I dropped one. Dropped a kid. Oh no. See, they even have little kids that you can put in there. So if you notice, some of these pieces are really, really tiny. So if you have really small children, that are under the age of 3, make sure that it's very supervised, just because they're really little and you don't want to lose all the pieces. I just keep them in a little plastic baggie. If you do decide to take it to mass with you because you think it'll help your child concentrate, and you can't find the Ascension Press book, or you think that your child would like the magnet board better than the interactive book, then just make sure that you, as a parent, pick out the magnet pieces. I haven't done this yet, but I was just thinking, if I were to take it, how would I handle this? Because you don't want all these little pieces all over the church and then your kid's sad because they lost them, right? Just take a few big pieces, or if you are going to take the little pieces, make sure it's just the ones that you want to concentrate on. For example, if you want to just focus on where is the tabernacle, then you just take out, and the altar, then you just take out those magnets and bring those with you in a little plastic baggie. You don't have to just take this so they can remember what it is. What they're looking at. But unless you have a super uber responsible child that will keep track of where all their stuff is, I would just take a few of those magnets out at a time if you're taking them to mass. If you're taking them on a car trip, or if you're just pulling them out just to teach them at home, then don't worry about it. This is also a really great, I would say, be a really great tool for a Catholic school. If you're a teacher that's teaching first grade or second grade and you have children that are preparing to receive confession and Eucharist for the first time, this would be a great center. If you wanted to do centers, this would be a great one for that. Or if you're doing a CCD religious ed program and you just want something extra for the kids to do, while you could do like small centers. But I don't remember how much this was. Again, I'll have the links to all this in the blog spot. But I almost bought my son this myself because it was a decent price. But my mom beat me to it, thankfully. So We Believers also has they have two versions. I don't have either one. I didn't buy them because I didn't think, I'll explain in a second, but they have two mass kits. Now, if you're not familiar with what a mass kit is, it's basically just, it's kind of like with that board, the magnet board book that I just showed you. But instead of it's all three-dimensional objects that you would find in the church. So you find the paten that we have, that we hold the host on, the chalice that holds the blood of Christ, the thurible, which is for the incense. So that it's just basically sorry, I have cat hair on my nose. That's why I keep scratching my nose. We got a new cat. She's short hair and her fur goes everywhere. It's like confetti. It's like cat hair confetti, and it just sticks to everything it shouldn't. So if you see, that's why I apologize for the itchy nose. Her hair's all over me. So the mass kit is basically just what a priest would use for if he were to do a mass himself, by himself, like a private mass. And the mass kit for kids is obviously a kid can't consecrate, right? It's just for them to understand what the different vessels are, what they're used for, and to play mass themselves. Now, if you have little girls only, I wouldn't encourage them to play mass, but they're great. The mass kits out there are really great tools for teaching them, what those objects are and what they're used for. Now, my son likes to play mass, like I said, because when he sees the host being raised up at mass, he tries to mimic what the priest is doing. And as a boy, with him, I think that's fine because only men can be priests. So that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong, though, with getting a mass kit to help your girls understand the vessels and what we're doing and why. And it'll also help you understand what we're doing and why at the mass yourself. So totally encourage you to do it. Now, the only problem is the two mass kits I know of. I mean, I know you can get some off of Etsy that are wooden. Excuse me. I haven't bought those yet because I don't think my son really wants, get some water. Sorry, my throat's scratchy. I don't think he's quite ready to have the mass kit yet. Like I said, he's only 2.5 and he won't be receiving Eucharist for at least 5 more years. Or 6.5 really. So he's a little young for those. But if you do have, when we would go to our, because I used to teach catechism, our school year's over. He'd hang out in the religious ed office when I was getting ready for classes or getting supplies and stuff ready. And the religious ed director had the We Believers mass kit, and it's soft. It's all the pieces, like I said, and it's just nice and soft. And she'd let him play with it all the time. And so he just loves playing with it. So I looked it up on the internet, on their website, and it's $70. And I thought, no way can I afford $70. But I did see on their website, they also have, I believe it's 25, maybe 35. I don't quite remember, but it's a cheaper price range. It's a mass kit, but it's all cardboard. So perfect for a second grader or up, not so great for a young kid. So again, those two options won't work for my family, but if it's something you're interested, I will have the links on my blog for you to check out. Now, I do subscribe to a website called Catholic Icing. She is a mom, and she loves to do crafty things with her family, and she sells a lot of it on her website, and a lot of it's also free. I'll have her linked on my blog spot as well. And I think I've done a few of her stuff on this channel before. And so she had a make your own mask kit. And so I used her pictures for inspiration. I didn't follow it exactly. And I would recommend doing the same thing. So I would recommend if you do want to make your own mask kit, and I'll show you the pieces I made. Um, I encourage you to go look at hers because hers is super impressive. And there's no way I would ever have time unless I had absolutely no kids because I have no patience for crafts. But I like doing artsy stuff. I don't like doing crafty things, if that makes sense. But if you are interested in doing it, whether you like to do crafty stuff or not, but you want to try making a simple starter mask kit to kind of get your kids encouraged as to what's going on, or if you want to help them practice getting ready for First Communion. Or just to kind of refresh what's going on, check out her site first. Again, link will be, actually, I think I'll put her link down below in the description later and on my blog spot, but she has some great ideas. So I just kind of took some of her ideas and made it simpler. So for example, she went and got all of the craft supplies, I think at like the Dollar Tree and a few other craft stores, and then she spray painted everything gold. I don't have time to do that, nor did I want to do it. So luckily at Walmart, because everything we use for our vessels are supposed to be gold because they don't leach. The blood of Christ it's not porous like glasses, I should say. So and then, it's for God, and we want everything for God to be special. So we put it on or in gold. So Walmart has gold colored paper products. So everything I used is gold. So you can get a small, I want to say, is it 8? 5, I think I want to say 8. So of 8 plates and cups, gold colors, $1 each. So what I spent on my craft kit, my mask kit for my son was $2.50. I spent $2.50. Now, if you do exactly the way Catholic Icing does, you're starting to get closer to the We Believers $70 mask kit. And I'm thinking, well, for $20 more, I could just buy the mask kit, or for $2.50, I could do it myself. So it kind of just depends on what you have around your house already, what your thrift stores have, what your craft supplies stores have, and Walmart. So just kind of be thrifty, I guess, for this sake. Anyway, so what I did is I went to Walmart and grabbed their $1 gold paper plates and $1 gold set of paper cups. And so I wrote chalice. I mean, obviously it's a paper cup, but just to get the kind of the idea for my son. So it'll say chalice, and then he can use that for the chalice. I have a plate and it says paten because that way he understands that's where we put the host. And it's great for you too. If you write it, the vocabulary word, it's not just great for your kids. It's great for you too if you're not familiar with this, because then you see it and you're reading it, and then you and your child are acting it out together. So it's 3 ways that you're remembering your faith. So we have that. And then the We Believers set has hosts that are made out of foam. They're thicker foam. And so I just took the religious ed teacher knew a religious ed director knew that I wanted to make my own. She's like, hey, I have a scrap piece of white foam you can just have, because it was like all cut up and it was going to be thrown away anyways. So for free, got white craft foam that you can get, for under $1 at Walmart. And I just traced the hosts that she had in her mask kit. I just traced them, or you can just use circles. If you could use the bottom of your cup, if you want. And, or those little Dixie cups, if you use those make, or a little shot glass or something, or a craft container that's circular, that's small, you could use those to trace. And so I just traced out circles, and on I made 2 big ones because the priest has the one big one when he's raising it. I just put a Jerusalem cross on each with a gold permanent marker pen that I already had. So then my son can see they go on the paten, and then I have 3 smaller ones for him to use. He hasn't seen this yet, that part. Now, he loves the fact that there's a bell. I'm not going to ring it because he's napping in the other room and I want him to sleep because he had a busy week. But my mom has a ton of extra bells, and for whatever reason, she does. And so she said he likes to hear the bell ring. So when the priest raises the host, usually in most parishes, you hear the bells ring. And, that means that it's truly Christ present. So he'd have at the religious ed office, he'd always have me ring the bell, and then he'd raise the fake host. So my mom gave us a little bell. It's an apple, and I'm not going to ring it. So I can ring it for him, and then he can raise the chalice and the host later. So if you can get a bell, if you have Christmas tree ornaments that have the bells, just dig through those and jingle those. You don't have to have a nice big bell. Catholic Icing had some great ideas on how to make your own, but I got that one for free as a gift. Something we already had, I just have to change out the batteries, are the little tea lights, because you have to have candles by the altar. So I can't tell that it's lit, but we need new batteries for him. So he can have candles next to on his altar. And this was really fun to make. So I had this is my 50-cent part. So the string is actually yarn that I got from our thrift store. It was like a little used up ball of yarn for like 50 cents that I got for other crafts, fun, dumb crafts for my son, like hanging homemade bird feeders from our fence and stuff with. So it's come in handy. And then I just took 2 of these gold cups from Walmart and I glued them together, so that like the part you would drink out of, I glued those parts together using a glue called E6000, which it's really stinky, but it dries super fast. And if you get it on your hands, it peels off like normal glue. So I hate super glue, because once it gets on your skin, it takes forever to come off. So E6000, it can get it in white or clear. You can paint over and everything. I didn't paint over the rim part because I was in a hurry and lazy when it comes to crafts. And I just took a permanent marker and made some little pretty designs on it to make it look like the incense coming through and becomes a thurible. Now he did see the thurible that I made for him yesterday, and he was all excited and he was already swinging it. He knows the incense comes out of it at mass. And so I said, "Oh, what's this?" And he said, I think he said surable instead of thurible. I think he said surable, but he knows what this is for. So that's really cool. Another thing that Catholic Icing said for your mass kit for your kids is to get a tabernacle. And what she did was she got a craft box, like one of those, I guess it's like a paint your own jewelry box type of a deal. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, and she's just grabbed one of those wooden boxes that would fit all of the stuff in it. And hey, we got somebody watching. Awesome. Very rarely happens. We have so few subscribers, which reminds me, if you like this video, share it with anyone you think could use it, and then click subscribe if you want to hear more ideas on other things with Catholicism. But anyway, so she said grab a box that you could decorate and paint it gold. But again, I didn't really feel like spray painting because our weather's been crazy. So I had this box already that had a tea set for teacups and everything, and I saved the box. And so we're just going to use it as, it's kind of gold-ish. But I'm going to use it as a tabernacle for him or just a storage box for him to put all of his gear in. So if he likes it, great, but it only cost me $2.50 to put together. So if he doesn't like it, and we need to recycle it all, it can just all go in the recycle bin or trash can. And it's not that big of a deal. Although if he doesn't like it right now, I think I'll just save it until he starts preparing for First Communion. Because it's a great teaching tool. So if any of those things are helpful, give this a like, which looks like you already got 1 like. Awesome. Thank you. And I'll have the links to the different resources that I was talking about on my blog post. So if you just scroll down to the description, I'll give you a link to that. And I'll have that blog post posted probably this afternoon. I still have to add the other links to it. But if you have any questions about the Catholic faith, be sure to either leave them in the comments below, or you can email me at catholicmomwithcoffee@gmail.com. Or if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know. I'm going to try to keep doing this weekly on Fridays because that's usually when I have time to film these videos. So I'll have a week to do the blog post and then, talk about it on the video on Friday. So I hope you guys have a great Feast of the Ascension this Sunday, and I will see you next Friday. God bless.